Welcome to Beyond That broadcast. I'm Jennifer. This is Mary.
Hello.
And here comes Mr. Owakan.
Hello, Kana.
Yes. Are we going to be talking about the animals? So Mary is going to pull a question for us to discuss while Kana gives me some of that lovely dog love. Yeah, here comes Callie.
Of course, jealous girl.
Must be an
Jealous
animal
girl.
day.
Okay, in an accident, death, or traumatic event, you've said there's no actual suffering or pain. Please explain.
Okay, so when someone has a traumatic event, death, injury, spirit ejects the soul before impact. And the reason I say that and know that is because that's what happened to me in my first near-death out-of-body experience. I was in a head-on car accident, and before the two cars hit, Archangel Michael came down and extracted my spirit soul out of the body, and I was on the other side, following behind Michael's trail. There's no time over there, but I'll just say 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Then I heard the cars crash behind me. So my spirit soul was already out of the body before the impact even happened. That's how I learned personally that at first I thought it was just me in that situation. But then I started talking to other people about their near-death experiences, and they came back with the same thing, saying they didn't feel a thing. They weren't even there.
Yeah.
You've got people on surgery tables who are being cut open, and their spirit soul has lifted out of the body, and they're watching the whole surgery. They don't feel a thing. So the saving grace is, I call it the eject button. Spirit always knows before an event happens, and the divine council, the angels, whatever you want to call them, come in and actually extract your spirit from the body so you do not experience suffering. And that's why I always say there's no such thing as suffering other than what we perceive in our heads. We make it up in our heads. So take for an example, you see a car accident and someone's laying on the ground and they're crying and bleeding and maybe they're having a seizure. The body itself is responding to the memory and reacting in those ways, but the being that feels it is not there. They don't feel a thing. It's kind of very much like when I don't know if you've heard it, but I've heard it through people at hospice and doctors, where somebody's dying on the table or at any kind of death scene. They will have already been declared dead, but their body's still moving and responding, or twitching or doing something. They've been dead, but the body is still in movement. Even in morgues, this happens. My father used to work in a morgue, and he would get people in there dead for 2 days, and the body would still move and make these motions. It's the memory within the cells and the tissues and the muscles that are causing these contractions to make the body respond. But that does not mean the person's in there feeling all that's going on.
Aware.
Right, and I learned that personally, but then through talking to everybody else, I found the same thing. They're all saying the same thing. They feel nothing. So in that respect, my own experience and all these other people are coming back saying the same thing. There is no pain. There is no suffering other than what we believe. A good example, and I catch myself all the time, I'll go stub my toe on something and I'll go, ow, immediately, ow. Well, it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt. Why am I saying ow? Because we've been conditioned to think that any kind of impact is going to hurt. But it didn't hurt. I just responded that way. Another good example, actually a couple. I was in a higher mind one day. My dog had cancer, so I was trying to receive information on what kind of products to give him to help him out through that time period. So I was getting out of the car, got the dogs out of the car, but my brain and mind and consciousness were not really here. I was on the other side too, trying to get the information. Shut the car door or trunk, went to walk away, and I got pulled back. And I was like, what the heck? And I looked and slammed my finger in the car.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I felt nothing, no pain. But the minute my eyeballs saw that my finger was flat and crushed inside the trunk, let me tell you, the pain kicked in. And I went, oh no, this is not good. And it was this hand, so I was in a position with two dogs in this, holding this hand. I couldn't open the trunk to release my finger. Somehow, some magic way, I became a contortionist and ended up doing it. My finger was flat as a board. I mean, it was flat. And I went, this is not good. I'm not going to be able to do anything with this finger. And then I sat there and I said, no, wait a minute. I didn't feel it. So why am I going to accept the pain afterwards? That's just stupid. I'm not going to do that. So I didn't. And I just gave my finger a little massage, put a little lavender oil on it, and I said, it is what it is. And I went on my day, finished my job. Pain went away. Just this week alone, last week, I was actually doing Ayurvedic body rub. I had let the oil boil on the heater for a little too long, and it was boiling oil in my tin cup. I put it in a steel cup.
Right.
Sitting on the burner, boiling. I took it off. My client comes in, get her all prepped, and I had forgotten that it was boiling. Put my fingers in it to go do the body rub, and the boiling oil just burned all my fingertips. You think that was smart? No, I wasn't done yet. So then I go grab the steel tin with the other hand and burn all these fingertips. So I had 10 fingertips burned like no tomorrow, and we know how burns feel.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I said, I gotta do this. I'm not going to say, oh, so sorry, I did something stupid, I can't do your service. So I sat there and I said, one of two things are gonna happen. Either the oils that I use are gonna heal it, or my skin's gonna peel off and I'm gonna have nothing but bones showing. So I got through, I started doing my massage, and I said, it is what it is. I'm here to, get this client to where they need to be, and I will deal with whatever injury I deal with afterwards. And I'm doing my thing. Finish it. It's an hour, by the way. So for a full hour, I had to keep dipping my already burned fingers into the hot oil and applying it to the body. And that was late afternoon, about 3 o'clock. So by the time I got home, it was about 7, and I had to do dishes and turn the hot water on, and the hot water hit it, and I went, oh my God, and I looked, because I didn't even think to look after the massage, do I still have fingertips?
Yeah. So
I looked down, and I was like, they're not even burned. There's no blisters, no nothing. They look just like, nothing happened. So I said, why am I sitting here perceiving this? Why am I accepting this pain when I'm clearly looking and there's nothing wrong? Nothing. It all went away. Never thought of it again. No pain showed up again, because I took my brain and I brought it to a level of understanding that, look, there's nothing wrong. There's no injury. There's no open wound. There's nothing. It's all healed up. So I don't need to feel the pain. All went away.
That's hard to wrap your head around.
It's hard to do, but I've had enough of these kind of experiences happen to where I can actually work it pretty quickly. Now, in the beginning, you have to work it. You'll get pain. You'll get your mind to that. It'll go away. Then it'll pop back in. Say, are you sure you don't want to feel pain? And then you've got to go, no, we don't, It's self-talk, it really is. However, and that's what I tell everybody, I don't care how much pain you believe in, how much suffering you believe in. I have lived enough to literally be able to sit here and tell you it's all a lie. We do it to ourselves, because we have the power We have an amazing power. This body is an amazing machine. We have the power to overcome anything. Anything. And what's the one thing that gets us the most pain? Or our belief system. We can overcome anything that doesn't make us feel good. Yes, you're going to feel it. And we're going to perceive out it's painful. We're going to perceive that because that's what we've been trained. But what I've learned through on the other side too is the body itself, let's take a baby being born. A baby being born doesn't actually feel pain. It feels a sensation. We only relate that sensation to being painful once we've been told it's painful.
Wow.
So, don't use scissors, you're going to cut yourself. Don't put your hands on a burner, you're going to burn your fingers. Don't do that, it could kill you. Don't do this, that's going to hurt. We spend, our childhood is just inundated with all these. Don't do this, you're going to die. Don't do this, you're going to get hurt, you know. Don't climb that tree, you're going to fall off and break your neck. It's just embedded in us from childbirth to where we grow up believing in pain. However, if you erase all that and you just take the newborn knows nothing but sensation. Same thing. Animals get some god-awful injuries. My deer that show up in my backyard, they've had hit by cars, broken jaws, gashes, you know, with their tendons showing. They've had some god-awful injuries. You don't see them crying, screaming, going, oh, I'm in pain. They keep going with life. You know, they don't perceive pain because they have not been taught that pain exists. Now, they will cry out, and babies do cry out because of confusion. Something happened, they're feeling something, but they don't know what it is, but they don't perceive it with pain. Humans are the only ones who have defined pain and suffering to feel it. But I've lived it enough to know that you don't have to. We will because we've already been conditioned.
Mm-hmm.
But you do have the power within to be able to talk to yourself and your brain and your consciousness and have those two come to a agreement to where, okay, I understand this happened, but it's not my bag, I'm not carrying it.
Wow.
You know, and move on.
Yeah.
And when you dip your fingers boiled off with hot oil, and you keep putting your fingers in hot boiling oil for an hour, you should have some kind of injury. Nothing.
Well, I know when I stub my toe.
Yeah.
I mean, a few choice words and and it hurts.
Yeah.
So I'll have to pay attention.
But it doesn't have to continue hurting.
To hurt.
It's going to initially because that's, like I said, that's how we've been trained to perceive any injury.
And I think telling our kids, and we're parenting.
Yeah.
You know, or we're not even wanting them to get hurt because
we believe in pain and suffering. We're teaching our children pain and suffering.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we all do it. This circle can be so vicious if you really boil it down to where it all originated. But this is humankind because this began way back when humans just first came here. I mean, everybody started to define things in their own way. But I can remember being a young girl and hitting my funny bone on my elbow.
Right.
And tell my mom, it's not funny at all. Why does it hurt?
Sure.
It's not funny.
Oh, it's your funny bone.
So there's the consciousness. If you look at something, oh, that's funny, and I kind of did with that treatment that I did because I was thinking, well, you stupid idiot. You knew it was hot and you went and grabbed it anyway. So I kind of brought a little funny into it going, you're just a ding dong for doing it. You bring in the funny and it does help erase the pain. That's why I say laughter is the best medicine. It is.
Yeah.
If you can laugh at yourself and you're stupid, you're cured.
I'd be laughing all day.
I'd be laughing all day, all night. Actually, I do. But that's what I mean by there is no pain, there is no suffering. Not because because we have the power for it not to be.
Yeah. And I agree. It's a training, because people are listening and like, come on.
Oh, I know.
I'm like, really?
No, I said it when I
Yeah,
experienced it. But like I said, you have to experience things to believe your truth. And these are the things that Spirit has me experience, because I'm in that arena of that mindset, that mindfulness. So I have to experience these things to be able to show some kind of proof if you need it, you know. I can say, well, I've got proof, I lived it, I did it, you know. And I work it. I will still stub my toe and go, ow. And then I'll go, you ding dong, you know that doesn't hurt. And then it's gone, and I just go on about my way. Now, mind you, I've had 19 years of, you can believe the amount of experiences. But that's it. Consistency. You've got to keep reminding your brain of, I'm not accepting this. And that's another thing, old school teaching. Like affirmations, people say if you repeat the same thing over and over for 40 days, it'll sink in. That's the same kind of concept. And the reason it does that is because once you do something consistently for 40 days or more, usually I'd say about 60 days. Once you do that, the neuron pathways in the brain actually start going off in different directions. So if you believe one thing your entire life and you always believe in that one thing, there's only one neuron pathway that you're traveling. That's it. It's like deer walking through the woods and creating a path.
Sure.
So you have created this path, and that's all your body knows is your reaction to that one pathway. When you start doing things consistently for 40 days, new neurons start firing off, and they make different pathways. So now you kind of confuse your brain a little bit. So you get it in that confused state, and then you say, this is what I want you to know. It's a retraining. But you're doing it yourself. You're not allowing someone else to do it for you. Yeah, so you're creating those new pathways. So next time the event happens, your brain will say, okay, you've got 3 ways that you deal with this now. Which way do you want to take? So your brain basically asks you, what do you want to do? Now, your choice is, oh my God, I'm in pain, and, lay in bed and suffer.
Yeah.
Or, you know what? It's fine. We're moving on. And it'll take that path that you choose. But you have had to have opened it with the consistency of, this is what I want.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a form of your own brainwashing.
Yes. Yeah.
Because many people are brainwashed, and it's that pattern that...
Well, and one thing that we do have to remember, above all else, is the human brain, we only function on 3 to 5% of our brain capacity, our power. You've got 95% that even scientists don't even know about. It's all unknown. So what we're doing is we're not actually brainwashing ourselves of that 3 to 5% that we're used to using. We're actually tapping into the 95% that's unknown and funneling that into the 3 to 5% that we use. So it's not a type of brainwashing, it's a brain opening.
Yeah.
So you're extending past your limits to say, no, I know I have more power up here. I don't know what it is, but I know there's more power. And that 95% that I'm not using or unaware of. So I'm going to go tap that and see if I can't get a drop to come down to this 3 to 5% that I am using and aware of. And just that alone actually opens you up to that 95%. So you're merging, you're bringing in more to your lower level of conscious intelligence to be able to use it in a new, expanded way. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah.
It's definitely it'll be fun to try it, won't it?
And
Just stub your toe.
to say, okay, I'm gonna do this.
Oh yes, let's not have anybody.
Let's
not have anybody listening to this podcast go out and hurt themselves to see if I'm telling the truth.
Oh, no.
Don't do that. That is not what I'm recommending.
Should you say you don't want to do this at
Don't
home?
do that at home. But try it next time. Something does happen.
Yeah.
Just say, wait a minute. I know there's there's 95% of something that I'm made of that I need to at least see if I can find out what it is.
Right.
Um,
Self-training.
yeah. So thank you very much for tuning in.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Take care.